So I thought tonight we could talk about the idea of waiting for tomorrow. So this is the sense that, perhaps some of you have felt where there's the sense of, well, I haven't had the right experience yet. I haven't had the full experience yet. It's not yet complete, you know, or even if we're not talking about awakening, even if we're just talking about life, there can be a sense of, well, life has had some really beautiful moments, had some difficult moments, of course. But I'm still waiting for sort of the resolution of life, the fulfillment, the sense of, finally complete, at ease, no more striving, no more hoping for something better in the future. Anybody ever felt like that? Like, like I know it's possible. It seems close. It seems somehow achievable, but elusive. Like I'm not quite sure what that would be, but it feels like there should be that potential in life to basically to fulfill my dream. Right? But when we're talking about fulfilling one's dream, we're talking about tomorrow. We're not talking about right now, because even the concept of fulfilling one's dream has some requirements to it. It's not like, well, everything that I need to fulfill my dream is present in this moment, dream fulfilled, end of story. So there's this sense of waiting. Somehow, if I am waiting for the right experience, that explosive awakening experience that I've read about, that's what I want. And it hasn't quite happened yet in the way that I think it should. Therefore, I feel like in this moment, I'm lacking something essential. But maybe, hopefully, it'll happen in the future sometime. So just the sense of somehow something in this moment is not quite enough, not quite sufficient. So can be this sense of, but I'm working on it. I'm headed in the right direction. I've read about the things that are necessary. Maybe I just feel like I need to buckle down and meditate more. Maybe I need to, do some good deeds, try to balance out my karma. Or maybe we just feel disadvantaged somehow, like, because of my childhood, what can I do? I've just got such an uphill battle. It's just not going to be possible for me in this lifetime. But maybe in a future lifetime. So, but the same, whatever our thought process might be, it's the same concept that somehow something is lacking now that with the right amount of grace or effort or practice, that in the future, I'll meet the requirements. I'll be eligible, but not now, right? Is there not that sense of, well, not now, not like this, that there's something that I feel that I'm not entirely, for a lot of people, not entirely worthy of this what's been described as an immense gift. It's not, the gift is the recognition that the gift has already been given. It's not a gift that's being withheld pending your improvement. That's not how it works. The gift has already been given. Nobody is left out. It was there from birth. It was present for your birth. The birth happened within that awareness. So it's been there all along. Never for a moment has it been absent. And if it's never been absent, why are we projecting the idea that it can only be found sometime in the future? Right? And we know from our own experience that the future never actually happens. It's a concept, the future. All we ever experience is the present moment. Right? It'll be the present moment today, it'll be the present moment tomorrow. But, for all of our efforts spiritually to be in the present moment, none of us have ever managed to be anywhere but in the present moment. So we can sort of relax about that one. But the fallacy is that if it is always the present moment, and our idea is that the fulfillment can only happen in some future moment, then we've denied the possibility of recognizing what's already here in hope that at some future point, there'll be a better moment, right? That's the underlying thought, that somehow I need to do something to get from here to there, or wait for grace to look my way. But if what we're talking about is our essential beingness, right? Something that is fully present for all of us at all times and has been since birth and before. Why is not this moment as good as any other moment? If it's present for whatever the experience is, whatever the thought is, whatever the feeling is, it doesn't need to wait for an explosive moment. Any moment will do. Because it's never absent. It's what we are is what we are, and essentially, and we are always that. So whatever the arising may be happening, whatever the experience, the thought, the feeling, high state, low state, happy, depressed, sad, sick, healthy, lazy, excited, grateful, desolate, whatever the state is, we're still present for that. And, we know that life gives us ample opportunity to visit all of those states. So it's not about achieving a particular state. It's not about remaining in a high state. It's being willing to live life on life's terms. And sometimes life presents some challenges, some difficulties, some pain, some misfortune. And the question is, are we willing to live life remaining present for those moments as well? Doesn't mean that we have to love them or even like them necessarily, but we do have to be willing. We don't have to be. We have a choice. We can be unwilling and suffer, or willing and not. I mean, we do have a choice. So this sense of sort of postponing our possibility of fulfillment, completion in a sense in this lifetime, if it's put off into the future and it's present now, then we deny what's real and present in favor of a concept about what may happen or should happen, or I hope will happen in the future sometime. And that's a never-ending story. So even if we can just see the conceptual logic of that, we can come back and say, okay, what is present now? Because if it's present now and it is awake now, which is what I'm suggesting it is, then the question is, how am I creating this sense of unawakeness? Right? If the awakeness is already present, in other words, I'm defining awakeness as recognition of our essential self. Right? We are functioning from and as that essential self, whether we know it or not, whether we believe it or not. It's fortunately, it's not subject to whether we believe it or not, right? It is as it is, right? The human mind has the capacity, it's not this mysterious presence, consciousness, formless, spacious, wondrous capacity that I have. It's not that. It's me, individual me that is living this life and making decisions and doing these things and thinking these things, right? That's the egoic assumption that separates us from the basic realization of what is already happening. And life is fascinating, right? There's lots of things to be fascinated by. And this capacity for consciousness or awareness is malleable, right? Not in essence, but it can. It doesn't refuse anything. So whatever the next enticing thought is, if we find it fascinating, that's where our attention goes. The idea of some wonderful event, future vacation, new relationship, bigger house, whatever the thing that entices our mind, the awareness is okay with that. Doesn't have a problem. It allows us to live life fully, right? But there is a deeper gravitational pull there, and that gravitational pull feels like not enough, right? There's something lacking, that sense of unsatisfactoriness. Maybe not, in your face, unsatisfactory all the time, but this subtle sense of life hasn't quite lived up to what I feel is possible, what I'd hoped it would be, right? But if we're looking to find that level of satisfaction in experiences, we'll always come up lacking. And the reason is actually simple. The reason is that experiences never last. They come and they go. So if we're staking our sense of fulfillment on a particular experience, even when that experience is fulfilled, there's a sense of, yeah, but I know it won't last. I can feel it slipping away. Maybe not right away. There's this sense, even things that may last years, a relationship, a career, something that we deeply care about. One day, we know deep down that all of that will be lost. So if we're betting our sense of abiding fulfillment on experiences that are always going to be impermanent, there's never a sense that we can relax. So the alternative is there anything that's not subject to this constant flux of change? And everything in the world of form is subject to the world of change. By form, I mean anything that has a sort of a quality to it. So anything that has a shape, a size, an age, a duration, a flavor, so it can be, clearly a tree, a chair, a room, can also be a thought, a feeling, a memory, a hope. All are objects in that very broad sense that appear within this awareness that we are. But there's only one thing that doesn't come and go, and that is this awareness. Has never for a moment left. Right? Our attention does. Our attention may be completely consumed by the next problem or situation or wonderful event or good meal or a good movie or whatever. It's constantly being pulled into the world of form. Right? And even that is not inherently a problem, except to the extent that we believe that the greater reality is what appears rather than what it appears to. So the more we can come back to just this simple sense of presence, I amness, beingness, awareness, just that simple sense of being prior to any definition, even identification with this particular body, which is also an object appearing within awareness. Familiar, mysterious. It feels close at hand because this is where the sense organs is. So it feels immediate, but still, the only way we know we have a body at all is that appears within awareness. So the more we can just step back into that spaciousness, just that empty vastness that has a sense of knowingness to it, not knowing things, but just the capacity to know, the capacity to be present. And we can come back to that and see everything else arising, emerging, remaining for a while, receding, coming and going. We can still enjoy the show, And we can enjoy it much more if we recognize that, as entertaining as that is, and as challenging as it is, as beautiful as it is, that it is not our true home. And we get to be both the observer, observing presence, and a character in the play. We get to play both. And if we're not trying to convince ourselves that one is spiritually preferable to the other, there's no problem. It's just all happening as it happens. And then when we're not trying to manage how that unfolds, there's a flow to it. There's a movement to it. Sometimes we're out in the world and doing what we need to do, and sometimes we're back and recognizing this true nature that has never been absent. And if we're not trying to manipulate it, that flow is very, very smooth. We don't have to even wonder, okay, am I being more spiritual now or less spiritual, more worldly? Even that is the ego trying to come in and manage whatever happens to be arising. So when we can truly relax back into what has always been there, that essential sense of being, life flows. And we've all had that experience. We might not have called it enlightenment, but it's actually enlightened living, enlightened cooking, enlightened gardening, enlightened walking, when we're just doing it just out of sheer enjoyment. It's just happening. We're not doing it because it's a spiritual practice. We're not doing it to be done with it. We're not doing it to impress anybody. We're not doing it to earn merit. We're not doing it for any reason. It's just happening. It's out of let's just say a joyful overflowing of our energy and willingness to participate in the world. No, it's just in alignment with life as it's unfolding in that moment, without any goal, without a purpose, without trying to get from here to there, without trying to earn something, without trying to become something. And we've all had that experience often, many times, daily, I would say, maybe just for a few moments. Okay? And then there seems to be an ease. And so when we can recognize that, we can learn to just allow that spaciousness, that willingness to be in the world, just to move as it will. And there's a grace to that. So we don't have to wait. Even the idea of waiting is the illusion. Even the idea that something is absent now, that will be present then, is an illusion. It's already present. We don't miss it because it's far away or difficult to understand or complex, or it requires, a high level of intellect. No, we miss it because we're looking where it's not to be found. It couldn't be closer, right? By closer, I just mean the most intimate possible thing because it is already what you are. We can't see it because we're looking for it. We never actually consider the possibility that it is what is looking. So it's for the same reason that your eyeball can't see itself, right? It is what is looking. Not not talking just visually. I'm saying what is present for whatever experience may be happening, and we can't get a good look at what awareness is, because we can't ever be outside of it to look at it. It's sort of like the universe in that way. You can't get outside the universe to look at it, to see what it really is. Because if it's really the universe, it's all one and you're never outside of it. And the same with awareness. So everything that we've ever experienced in our entire life has happened within this awareness that you are. So you've never been outside of it for an instant. So just the invitation is just to come back and recognize that ever-present nature of the sense of I amness, and not to seek it, the next idea, the next hope. Look for look for what is present now. If it's unchanging, steadfast, loyal, your essential nature, it couldn't be absent, not for an instant. So just see what's present now. It doesn't require a special event. We can be grateful for the capacity to experience any event, like this one, for example.